There is a critical shortage of decent housing in the Caribbean and in Latin America. You are about to see the story of a Haitian family who, through the compassion and generosity of people like you, have received a home.
We had to go through the border, and then you drive through this gate, and it's interesting because it's not the border between the DR and Haiti so much, because there is a strip of land. It's like, it's almost like a barrier.
The people that had been living in this no man's land between the two countries had a squatter's village there, and they told us that they had built houses, shacks really, there, and then they'd been there for several years. One day, without any notice, bulldozers arrived, and nobody knew who sent them or where they came from, but they bulldozed everyone's homes under.
They didn't have time to grab anything. They just had the clothes on their backs. They grabbed their kids, and they ran for their lives because they were terrified. And everything they had inside their houses was gone. Boom, just like that. Burned down, destroyed. And not through an accident and not through an act of nature. It was through these people just bulldozing through their lives. They were left with absolutely nothing. They didn't even have stuff they could use to construct shelters again.
When we got there, we literally found people living under the rocks. It's a very rocky area, very dry. There's some cactus out there. And there were people, they had propped up pieces of tin and aluminum, things like that, zinc, and just propped them up under like little alcoves in the rocks, and they were living under the rocks.
And that's where we found Melanie, living underneath the rock.
She had 2 children, and there she was, literally living under the rocks. It was like the woman in the mountain. I really couldn't believe that not only was she living like this, and because, there was just no way that when it rained that she could stay dry. Obviously, animals could come in and out, insects. This was not protecting her at all. So not only was she living there, but that she had these 2 children living there with her.
I just couldn't believe it. This is definitely the worst housing case I've ever seen. It was like a little hole that a kid would hide in, like a playhouse.
To me, and I think it came out in the pictures, she almost seemed like a prisoner in this mountain, because you could just barely see her there under the rocks. And, in a way, her poverty was her prison, and her cell is this little spot under these rocks.
When she told the story, it really gave me chills. She knew the exact hour and the day, probably the minute, that the bulldozers came and crushed her home. It had made such an impression on her life. It's like asking an American, were you doing the day Kennedy was shot, or any other major world event? Where were you when 9/11 happened? For her, this was 9/11. This was her 9/11.
On the other side of this street was a small church, and it was basically just almost a tin shack itself. The church was packed with more than 100 people, maybe 200 people. The church was brimming with people. They were standing, at the windows, at the doorway, peering in through cracks in the wall, that sort of thing. We were there with people from the Food for the Poor Haiti office, and they came to hear what we had to say. They came very anxious, somewhat hopeful. They're hoping that we had some good news for them. And so there they were, just staring at us, leaning forward, just with so much anxiety in their eyes, just hoping that we're going to give them some kind of good news about their situation. And as it turned out, we had some good news to give them. While we were there, Marie Carmel, who works for Food for the Poor in Haiti, got up to address the crowd, and she told them who we were and what we were doing there and how Food for the Poor works. And she was also able to inform them that land had been donated so that Food for the Poor could build houses for them. They applauded and cheered, and yelled, and they sang. The Haitians love to sing, so they sang for us. That was wonderful.
I saw houses there that were almost finished. There were about 50 houses there, and several families had already moved in because their situation was so desperate that they couldn't really wait for the houses to be finished.
They're concrete block construction homes with metal roofs, concrete foundations. Very sturdy, nice, clean homes. We saw a woman on a porch. She was sitting there, and I thought she looked somewhat familiar, but not exactly. And we went up to talk to her, and this woman just had this air of serenity and peacefulness and tranquility. And as it turns out, I did recognize her, but it just seemed like a different woman. This was Melanie, the woman that had been living under the rocks. And all of that, desperation and fear and anxiety of living in this horrible situation, all of that was gone. And she was just, wonderfully peaceful, tranquil, serene woman now. And had recently given birth to her third child, which was inside. And she went and got it and showed her baby cradling in her arms. And it was just a wonderful moment for all of us.
She said, I'm happy and comfortable now. I'm relieved. We don't get wet anymore. I was scared, especially when I had my baby. Now I'm so happy. I feel safe. She told us, I'm praying for everyone who made this house possible. All the time I was in the rocks getting wet, I would pray to God for a way to keep us safe. Sometimes I get on my knees to thank God for the house and to watch over us. And I pray for others who need help, that He will help them too.
Merci.
There are thousands of mothers throughout the Caribbean and Latin America like Melanie. Their stories may differ from one to the next, but their desperation and despair are the same. Please help us restore their hope and basic dignity. Your gift of $2,600 will build a family a home. If that's not possible for you, a pledge of $174 a month for 15 months will also provide a home for a desperate family. We are trying to help our poorest brothers and sisters, one family at a time, and we need your help. Today, right now, you can change the life of a family forever. Please help us in any way you can, and may God continue to bless you and your family.